This dog was bred to kill bears alone in the mountains of Georgia, and today people are keeping it in suburban backyards. Today, we're counting down the 10 most powerful dog breeds on Earth, the ones bred for war, blood sport, and lion hunting, and why experts say most owners have no business bringing them home. Number 1 has already been banned in over a dozen countries. Number 10, the Boerboel. Bred in South Africa to guard remote farms against leopards and hyenas alone, overnight with no backup. A full-grown Boerboel can weigh over 150 pounds of nearly solid muscle, built to physically pin a predator to the ground and hold it there. The problem isn't aggression, it's judgment. A Boerboel makes its own decisions about threats, fast, and it's strong enough that a wrong call ends badly before a human can intervene. Ask yourself, would you trust an animal that decides on its own who's a threat and who isn't, with the strength to act on that decision instantly? But the Boerboel at least waits for a reason. Number 9 was built to attack without hesitation, on command, in a fighting pit, and that instinct never fully switched off. The Dogo Argentino. Engineered in the 1920s specifically to hunt wild boar and puma, the Dogo was selectively bred from 10 different breeds to eliminate one trait entirely: hesitation. A hunting Dogo doesn't pause to assess, it commits. That single-mindedness is exactly why the UK, Australia, and several other countries restrict or ban ownership. Outside a hunting context, that same commitment can lock onto the wrong target with no warning signs first. Number 8 takes that same lack of hesitation and adds something even more dangerous: a bite that doesn't release once it's locked on. The Cane Corso. Descended from Roman war dogs bred to fight alongside soldiers on the battlefield, the Cane Corso carries a bite force strong enough to fracture bone. But the real danger isn't the jaw, it's the breed's intelligence. Corsos are smart enough to test boundaries, remember weaknesses in a fence or a routine, and act on opportunities a less intelligent breed would miss entirely. Experienced trainers will tell you, an understimulated Corso doesn't just misbehave, it problem solves its way into trouble. If you didn't know a dog could be too smart to leave undertrained, hit that subscribe button. We're breaking down breeds like this every week. Picture a 100-pound animal that's smarter than your average Labrador and strong enough to break a door latch. Still feel safe leaving it home alone? Number 7 doesn't need to be smart, it just needs one bite, because its jaw was built to end a fight in seconds. The Kangal. Bred in Turkey to fight wolves alone, the Kangal holds one of the highest bite forces ever recorded in a domestic dog, enough to crush bone on contact. Turkish Shepherds still use them today for exactly that reason. Nothing else stops a wolf pack single-handedly. That same bite, aimed at the wrong target by an inexperienced owner, is catastrophic. The Kangal isn't unpredictable, it's decisive, and decisiveness from an animal this powerful leaves no room for a second chance. Number 6 was bred for the exact opposite job, not defense, but war, and its history is darker than anything on this list so far. The Presa Canario. Originally bred in the Canary Islands for controlling livestock and later organized dogfighting, the Presa Canario carries both a working guardian's instincts and a fighting dog's tolerance for pain. It's banned or restricted in multiple countries specifically because of documented attacks involving the breed. Presas bond intensely with their families, which sounds positive until you realize that same intensity makes them fiercely territorial toward anyone or anything perceived as an outsider. Ask yourself, is a dog that loves you this much worth the risk to everyone who isn't you? Number 5 doesn't just guard territory, it was bred to guard an entire empire, and it hasn't forgotten how. The Tibetan Mastiff. For over 1,000 years, Tibetan Mastiffs guarded monasteries and nomadic camps against wolves, leopards, and bandits, completely independently, with no human direction. That independence is the exact trait that makes them so hard to own today. A Tibetan Mastiff doesn't take commands the way most breeds do, it evaluates them. If it disagrees with what you're asking in a moment that matters, it may simply refuse. In a 150-pound guardian bred to make its own life or death calls, that refusal can be dangerous. Number 4 doesn't refuse commands, it just doesn't need them because it was built to hunt bigger, faster, and more dangerous prey than almost anything else on this list. The Irish Wolfhound. Don't let the size fool you into thinking gentle giant is the whole story. Wolfhounds were bred over 1,000 years to run down and kill full-grown wolves and elk at a dead sprint. That means explosive speed, real hunting drive, and a body mass that can knock a grown adult off their feet by accident without any aggression at all. The danger here isn't temperament. Wolfhounds are famously calm. The danger is scale. Even affection from an animal this size can cause real injury. Ask yourself, could you stop a 180-pound animal from doing anything it's decided to do, even if it just wants to say hello? Number 3 has none of the Wolfhound's gentleness. It was bred purely for combat, and it's still fighting in illegal rings today. The American Pit Bull Terrier working lines. Selectively bred for generations specifically for dogfighting pits, working line pit bulls carry an extreme, hardwired gameness, the refusal to back down from a fight regardless of injury. Responsible breeders and owners have worked for decades to shift the breed toward family companionship, and most pit bulls today are stable, loyal dogs. But the working line genetics never disappeared. In the wrong hands, bred, trained, or provoked towards that original purpose, that same gameness becomes one of the most dangerous traits in any domestic dog. Number 2 was never bred for a fighting pit. It was bred for war, and it's still classified as a weapon in some military contexts today. The Caucasian Shepherd. Raised in the mountains of the former Soviet Union to guard against wolves and bears in brutal isolation, the Caucasian Shepherd is massive, thickly muscled, and almost entirely fearless. Soviet military programs later used the breed specifically for its aggression and size in guard and combat roles. Modern Caucasian Shepherds retain that same hardwired suspicion of strangers. Even well-socialized individuals often need an experienced handler for life, not just puppyhood, because their instinct to challenge unfamiliar people or animals never fully fades. And that brings us to number 1, a dog so powerful, so unpredictable in untrained hands that it's outright banned in over a dozen countries. The American Bandogge. Not a purebred at all, but a deliberately engineered cross, typically pit bull type breeds mixed with mastiffs, created specifically to combine raw bite force with massive size. Bandogges were designed from the start for one purpose: maximum physical dominance with no historical herding or guarding softness bred in to balance it. Because they're a modern hybrid, there's no centuries-old breed standard shaping temperament, just whatever the individual breeder selected for. Combined with size that regularly exceeds 120 pounds and a bite force among the highest of any dog on this list, that inconsistency is exactly why experts consider the Bandogge the least predictable, highest-risk breed an average owner could bring home. Ask yourself, would you bring home an animal this powerful, knowing that even the experts can't agree on what you're actually getting? Which of these 10 would you never risk owning, and which one surprised you? Tell us in the comments. And if you're ready for more, check out our deep dive on the dog breeds wolves are actually afraid of, right here.